Crankbaits come in all different shapes and sizes. Some dive really deep. This is a Guggen Squad crankbait here. Some are really shallow. This is a Guggen Squad banger. It's a little square bill. And some are really silent, made for that cold water kind of finesse crankbait tactics, such as our Apollo OG Slim 6. And then some you can just do everything with. And that would be your Strike King Red Eye Shad. But there's one that can really do it all, and that is the Strike King Hybrid Hunter. Can really do absolutely everything. So on this channel, my goal is to help you guys become better anglers, and if you want to do that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You'll get lots of content just like this video that'll make you become that better angler and learn about all different kind of baits and techniques that'll help you catch more fish when you're out on the water. So on the Strike King Hybrid Hunter, I'm going to start with the backstory of it. So this saltwater company that sponsored Strike King Pro, Todd Castledine, they came up with this little bait here. And Todd Castledine was sponsored by them. He saw it and he thought it'd be really good for fishing grassy lakes, especially down there in Texas where he's from. So he would use that bait. Not many people knew about it. He'd be winning tournaments on this bait. He'd be catching fish left and right. And long story short, that company went out of business, and the mold for this bait was lost. And Todd Castledine kind of forgot about it for multiple years. And so what happened was, then he was later sponsored by Strike King, and Strike King approached him and said, we'd like to make a crankbait that's really good through grass, shallow water, that can just absolutely catch them in places where a crankbait can't normally go. And so he remembered this bait, and so they found the mold for this bait and bought it. And now they're starting to mass produce these. So these are just new, starting to get on the market now. And it's just a great bait, period. And it's awesome. The Strike King guy, because they're an absolute great company. They can make awesome lures. The first thing you might notice on this bait is the downward shaped lip. So it's got that little staircase. What that does is when the bait is running, it keeps it hits its max depth really quickly. As soon as it starts digging, it'll dig straight to about 5 feet, and it'll stay there. That's why it's kind of rounded out, because it'll actually keep that depth. No matter if you rip it or do anything like that, it'll stay in its depth. And that is really good, especially when you're fishing grass, because you want it to get to that max depth. That's why you got this size crankbait. But you want it to stay there. You don't want to ever dive deeper, especially on longer casts. So that's why they made this lip here. Another good thing for that is it gives it a real crazy action. Whenever it hits something, it'll kind of veer side to side, as most fishermen call it hunting, given the name Strike King Hybrid Hunter. So whenever it hits something, it'll actually veer off to the side. Left, right, sometimes you can go to the right twice, to the left twice, anything like that. You never really know, that's why they call it a hunting bait. And then I got two colors here. Got the Ghost Minnow and the Electric Red, I believe. I'm probably wrong on that, but Clearwater Minnow and Fire Carl. That's the two colors. So Clearwater Minnows are good, like especially if you're going up north in those shallower, clear lakes. That's a really good color because it's that transparent color there. It can also imitate a gizzard shad. That's another good imitation, especially in those southern grassy lakes. The red is just a good all-around color for anywhere in the country, especially sprinting cold water. So that's why I got this color as well. Then these baits come in two sizes. I don't have the smaller version, but this is a little bit bigger version. Just to give you perspective, here is a Strike King Red Eye Shad, and here's the bait. So if you put it up to each other, you can definitely still see that Hybrid Hunter. So it's a very big bait. That's what struck me the first time I had this in my hands. It's very big. Another thing with that big size is the profile of it. So it's actually a flat-sided crankbait. You may not believe it, but it's actually flat-sided and has kind of side-to-side roll action, as does a flat-sided crankbait. It doesn't, on a square bill, kind of has that tail kick. This bait doesn't have that. It's definitely a rolling action. So that gives it a little bit smaller profile and cutting through those weeds, that back hook and flinging around and catching all those weeds, which makes it really, really versatile. Especially with that red color, it's a really good cold water. So it's that slightly finesse approach with that side-to-side roll action. But yeah, this is a Strike King Hybrid Hunter. I hope you guys liked this video. If it helped you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because there's a lot of other videos I'm going to be posting in the future about more baits like this, other baits that are really, really good. You want to stay tuned for that for sure. And if this video is helpful to you, go ahead and hit that like button so I know that it helped you. I'll see you guys next time. A rod and reel for throwing Strike King Hybrid Hunter is absolutely very important, because you need something that can handle the weight of that lure, because it's actually pretty heavy for its size. So you need a little bit stronger rod. You can go a little bit longer if you'd like, especially if you're in a boat. You can definitely go with 7.4, 7.5 rod. And right now I'm kind of pond hopping, so I got a 7.1 loose KVD cranking rod. The whole thing is the KVD setup, the reel and the rod. Is the CC3, so that is their like graphite rod. So it's really good for cranking. It's more parabolic than most other rods out there. And for the reel, I have the Lose KVD, and I got the 6:1 gear ratio. So that allows me to slow down that speed, because you don't want to get it too fast, because that bait is so good at, as soon as it gets down the water, it's got a lot of action to it. So you want that little bit slower reel to keep it down in the water, but at a slow enough rate where those fish can see it and react to it. Because especially small fish, it may take them a little bit of time to react to that lure, because it's a lot bigger than most other crankbaits that they see. So this rod is my preferred choice. It's definitely very, very strong. And then for the line, I have the 15-pound Seaguar Red Label. That's the line I prefer. It's very, very strong, durable, especially with a nick or fray in it. It's still got a lot of strength, and especially the line size. It's very, very important for cranking, because you don't want to you don't want to upsize your line too much. Say go to 17 to 20, because your crankbait won't dive to its depth. Like, say you got this banger here, Google Sweat banger. It says 2 to 5 feet. Let's say you're throwing that on a 20-pound line, it'll only go maybe 3 feet. And say you want it to go down to that 2 feet, you'd have to downsize the line. So my preferred choice is 15-pound line. It's good on all crankbaits. You can get it down really far, yet have that strength to pull fish in once you get it. So yeah, the Lose KVD setup is my favorite rod and reel of all time for cranking, especially those big Strike King Hybrid Hunters.